When I speak to students in high schools, or even when I spoke to the doctoral students at the University of Kinshasa about attitude, I always remind them that an attitude is worth $24,750,000. Or at least that's what all the talking heads on Sportscast talk about. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. Yes, there was a man who was once hired for a very specific job in sports, and he was hired by a very specific team for that very specific job, and he played at that job for a while, but then because of his bad attitude, he was released. He was later hired by another team in the same market for the same job to do the same thing. Same talent, same skill, same knowledge, same abilities. Only this time, instead of the $25 million contract signed the first time, he signed a $250,000 contract. A difference of $24,750,000, not because his skills changed, not because his abilities changed, not because his knowledge changed, but because his attitude was so bad he was unmanageable. Yet, still, from pre-K to Post Grad, our young people, our students, our young adults are being taught knowledge, skills, and abilities. Knowledge and skills and abilities, and that's what they're assessed on the first time that they come into their job. Knowledge, skills, and abilities. How well do you know the job? How well can you do the job? Can you perform these tasks in the right amount of time? Can you perform them to the standard of excellence that we expect of you? And if you can check off the little boxes, I was trained in this, trained in this, trained in this, certified in this, trained by this person in this, then you can get the job and maybe even keep it. But I want you to think for a moment about being a leader of a person who has a horrible attitude about life, a horrible attitude about the way they're treated by others. Maybe they feel totally entitled, and no matter what you do, it's not good enough. They feel like they're such an asset to the team that you are privileged to have them, even if their work is subpar. Even if the skills that they have are not quite as good as everyone else. Even if their abilities still need the test of time to prove them out. If they have an attitude of entitlement, not just will they show up with an edge about them, but they expect everything. A better pay, a better desk, a better office, to be treated better. They expect respect from people they haven't earned it from yet. They expect respect from people they haven't given it to yet, because they're entitled. Everything's always come the way they wanted it, when they wanted it, where they wanted it. I mean, if they want lunch, they can pick up the phone and dial Uber and make Uber go to the checkout line and stand in line and wait for their groceries, or stand in line at the fast food place and get their food and drive back across town and bring it to them, and it better not be touched and it better not be cold, and the ice milkshakes that are still be ice cold because they're entitled. That's a tough thing to manage, but as a leader, we've got to learn to dissect these attitudes, to understand which attitude we're dealing with. Is it entitlement, or is it rejection? Have they always been rejected? They've never been seen by themselves as good enough. They're not capable the way they'd like to be. They can't really measure up the way they want to. And so they constantly put themselves down, and they don't operate at the highest level because they don't have any confidence. See, when we as leaders can begin to discern one attitude from the other, then we also know that there's an antidote to that particular attitude, or a way to work with that particular attitude. There's a way to better serve as a leader when you understand the attitudes of the people you work with. And sometimes they're group attitudes, because attitude is more contagious than a common cold. And sometimes they're individuals who have different attitudes. And as a leader, you've got to be able to understand one from the other and understand how to replace one with the other. And that's what the attitude hack is all about. I hope you'll take a chance to check out the course online or buy the book. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.